Good morning and Happy New Year. We hope everyone had a wonderful holiday with family and friends. I'm Lisa Umekubo. I'm the co-superintendent for the Dharma School, and I will be chairing the service with my son, Mateo. We'd like to begin by welcoming our new minister, Reverend Sterling Davenport, as well as anyone who is new to the temple. Welcome. Today we will be observing the monthly memorial service, Shotsuki Hoyo, for January, and Reverend Hokai Smitty Smith will officiate the service.
The pre-K through to second grade students will now offer fruit and floral offerings.
We will now have silent meditation with Reverend Smitty.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Gasho. Namo Medapits. Namanda, 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 Namanda.
Reverend Smitty will now read the Shotsuki Hoyo names of loved ones we have lost in the month of January. Friends and family are invited to offer incense during the reading of names. If you know someone who has passed away in January and whose name was not read, please feel free to offer incense.
Yoshi Okuma. Jeffrey Akira Oto. Teruko Iwata. Lily Yuriko Terasaki. Priscilla Ishizaki. Maria del Refugio Gonzalez. Masami Iwataki. Toru Shiraishi. Michiko Kazi. Mitsuyo Mitzi Ota. Leonard Joseph Allison. Gary Yukio Kodama. Dorothy Matsumoto, Mitsuru Amano, Osao Himaka, Yoshinobu Sueyoshi, Isen Iguchi, Pro Takanori Nimura, Kimie Fukamizu, Harry Yamada, Sumiko Tsubakihara, Yoshiko Kusumoto, Mitsuko Kodama, Sumiko Kendall, Takenori Ohara, Seiji Saito, Robbie John Nishiguchi, Kazumi Yamada, Miwako Kosaka, Yukiko Watsuki, George Furuya, Haruko Iguchi, Kyoko Santo Higashi, Kesao Muraoka, Frank Akira Kajita, Tetsuyo Kashima, Chieno Okuma Moribe, Frank T. Torio, Masako Narahara, Elaine Matsumoto Barrett, Noboru Nakara, Setsuko Uchida, Shigeru Tabata, Shizuko Shimizu, Oshie Shimizu, Ikuyo Takeshita, Nobuo Honda, John Konishi, Alfred Wagner, Harry Pokio Matsumoto, Claude Holt, Ryu Yonikura, Kiyo Muraoka, Seiki Kawasaki, Saye Tsurudome, Kuni Kawamoto, Mitsuyo Urata, Mitsutaro Shimizu, Moto Kobayashi, Hachiro Honda, Isayo Ogawa, Shinhichi Kawamoto, Kiyotaka Kusumoto, Sojiro Torimaru, Toshiko Funaki, Hashio Yonekura, Masakichi Saito, Satoru Hata, Shigeko Takeguchi, Harue Okumura, Nobuo Hagio, Shokichi Kodama, Usaburo Ito, Taichiro Miyoshi, Mitsuyoshi Shindo, Isaichi Taniguchi, Chiyono Tomiyama, Matsuno Fujimoto, Bill Koga, Josaburo Yamashita, Jiro Niizawa, Tsunekichi Higuchi, Surematsu Iwata, Mitsuko Kuwada, Kotake Kondo. Again, you're invited to come and offer incense in memory of a friend or loved one who had passed away in the month of January, whether their name was read this morning or not.
Please turn to page 35 of the service book for sutra chanting, led by Reverend Smitty.
Gagon Chosegan Ishimu Jodo Shi 悲願不満足政府上昇学がお無料庫不意大接種不採処便具政府上昇学が市場分動要所長実法空教未所門政府上昇学利欲人少年上映主本業しぐむ浄土一生天人師人力現代公不傷無才道少女三苦名交際主役難回避知恵言滅死根も安閉塞小悪道通達全宗門高僧上満足意よろ実法日月主樹期天候音普賢一種解放像公正功徳法上大集中説法ししく供養一切仏具足習徳本願念心上満徳意三害王女仏無下知通達未不詳願学エリ都市最小尊志願や国家大戦王感動北小天人東鎮妙慶ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブやにしくどく平等性才道本菩提 Jishin Ojo An Rako. Gasho Namanda 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 Namanda.
Please rise for the recitation of our pledge, which can be found on the insert in the service book. Breaking out of my shell, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who tirelessly works to liberate all. Gasho Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namandas Namo. You may be seated.
We will now hear a Dharma message from Reverend Hokai Smitty Smith. Thank you for your thought.
Please join me in Gasho. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, 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 Namanda. Those words probably sound familiar because we just said them together. So good morning. It's good to see so many of you here today. For those that I didn't see on January 1st, Happy New Year. I hope you have a happy and joyous year of the horse, embraced by the wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha. You know, as each new year begins, we often wish each other peace and happiness in the upcoming year. But sometimes peace and happiness are blocked. And it's usually blocked by the three poisons. The three poisons, of course, are, okay, I heard greed, anger, stupidity, yeah, or ignorance, yeah, which is a bigger and harder to remember word, but thank you, yeah, okay. So that's G-A-N-S, or gas, if we use stupidity for that last one. This morning, I'd like to share a story from the Jataka Tales that's about a bunch of monkeys, a monkey king, a human king, and some other characters who will help us to think about the problems caused by greed, anger, or hatred, and stupidity or ignorance. So this Jataka tale of the great-hearted monkey is a story of a wise, courageous, and selfless monkey king. So it tells us that in the high Himalayas there once lived a wise monkey king and his troop of 80,000 monkeys. It's an awful lot of monkeys. Their home was in a forest glade by the side of the Ganges River. And at a bend in the river, where the water gushed pure and clear from the rocks, there stood a tall, shady tree. In the summer, this tree bore enormous, sweet, golden fruit that you and I know as mangoes. All the monkeys just loved these mangoes and ate them all almost as soon as they had ripened, maybe sometimes before they were fully ripe too. This is a good thing, though, because their wise Monkey King often warned the monkeys not to let a single juicy fruit fall into the river. In fact, the Monkey King often cautioned his followers, never allow a single mango fruit to fall into the water, because if that happens, the current will carry the fruit down the river to the land where the men live, and they will surely come in search of the tree bearing this delicious fruit. If the men come to our forest glade, they'll invade and destroy the peace in the kingdom of the monkeys. Well, it happened that one branch of this tree hung kind of low over the river, and one day a single ripe fruit that grew behind a hornet's nest on this branch fell off without anybody noticing, and the mango was quickly swept away by the river's rapid current. The fruit drifted down south until it at last reached the city of Benares on the banks of the southern part of the Ganges River. And on that fine morning, King Brahmadatta of Benares was bathing in the river between two fishermen's nets. When he had finished bathing, the nets were pulled in, and the fishermen found a bright orange fruit clinging to the mesh of the nets. Very excited about what they found, the fishermen took the fruit to show the king. And the king examined the fruit carefully and asked where it had come from and what it was called. And the fishermen didn't know anything about the fruit, so the king sent for the royal gardeners. The royal gardeners told King Brahmadatta that the golden orb was a mango, and the fruit didn't grow in his kingdom. The gardeners guessed that it may have flowed down the river from the valleys of the far-flung Himalayas. The king then asked them to cut the mango, and he tasted a slice, and it was simply delicious. He shared the rest of it with his ministers and the queen, who all loved the mango's divine flavor. They had never tasted anything like it before, and everyone thought it was simply wonderful. A few days passed, but the king couldn't get this luscious exotic fruit out of his mind. The king's desire for more of this fruit grew so intense that he couldn't work, rest, or sleep. All he could think of was that delicious mango. He was totally obsessed with it. Finally, he couldn't stand it any longer and set out in search of the distant mango tree. He ordered that a fleet of rafts be built and sailed up the river, accompanied by his soldiers, royal gardeners, and a few of the fishermen who found that first mango. Many days and many nights went by as they sailed up into the mountainous valleys of the Himalayas, and finally they came to a valley where the mango tree stood. With their mission of finding the tree accomplished, the king was delighted and began feasting on the mangoes until he couldn't possibly eat another bite. Later that night, the king lay down to sleep under the mango tree while his faithful soldiers stood guard. Fires were lit on either side for protection against wild animals. In the middle of the night, when the sentries had dozed off to sleep, maybe like some of you Dharma school students do during really boring services, the monkey came and stuffed themselves with all the mangoes that were still left on the tree. And King Brahmadatta awoke with all the noise the monkeys made while swinging from branch to branch, and he ordered his archers to shoot the monkeys. The king yelled out, "Surround the tree and shoot the monkeys. Tomorrow we'll feast on monkey meat along with the sweet mango fruit. That will really make a tasty meal." On hearing this, the monkeys trembled with fear and escaped to the treetops to inform their king. The monkeys said, "Good and wise Monkey King, although you warned us to take care of the mangoes, one must have fallen into the river. A group of men have come and stolen our fruit, and their leader told his archers to shoot at us so that they can feast on us tomorrow. We're surrounded by the men from the distant land. What are we to do?" And the Monkey King told his followers not to be afraid. He promised to find a way to save them. Having reassured his followers, the Monkey King climbed up to the highest branch of the tree and swung across the river to the opposite bank. He found a bamboo shoot, which he measured and cut carefully, and then tied one end of it around his waist. And the other end of the bamboo shoot he tied around a tree trunk. And the Monkey King had decided to leap back to the mango tree and help the rest of the monkeys cross to the other bank over the bridge that he made out of the bamboo shoot. But the Monkey King made a slight mistake in his calculations. He had not taken into account the portion of the bamboo shoot that he had tied around his waist, so when the Monkey King sprang back to the mango tree, he was just able to grasp a branch at the top of the tree. With great effort, the Monkey King clung to that branch, and he quickly summoned his monkeys to climb over his back and onto the bamboo shoot in order to escape to the other shore. One by one, the 80,000 monkeys saluted their chief, climbed carefully over his back, and ran across the bamboo shoot bridge to safety. But unfortunately, there was one kind of not so good, maybe sort of evil monkey in the group who really hated the Monkey King and kind of wanted to destroy him. This evil monkey's name was Devadatta. The mean monkey purposefully jumped onto his poor king's back and broke his spine. Leaving the Monkey King holding onto the tree limb in pain, the hateful monkey named Devadatta crossed the bamboo shoot bridge and escaped to the other bank. Now the human king, King Brahmadatta, who had been awake for a little while, had observed the whole episode, and he felt extremely sorry for this heroic Monkey King, who had ensured that his entire group had escaped at the cost of his own safety. And at dawn, King Brahmadatta asked his men to help lower the dying Monkey King to the ground. He then had them gently bathe the Monkey King, and they wrapped him in a soft yellow cloth. And the human king then asked the Monkey King why he had sacrificed himself for his tribe. And the great Monkey King answered that since he was the monkey's guide and chief, they were his brothers and sisters, and it was his sacred duty to protect them. The Monkey King said he had absolutely no regrets, as he ensured their safety by sacrificing himself. And the wise Monkey King also went on to say that the human king should always be mindful of his subjects' welfare, even at the cost of his own comfort. Saying this, the Monkey King closed his eyes and, despite his pain, died at peace with himself. King Brahmadatta had learned a great deal that day. He ordered his men to organize a funeral with full honors fit for a king. He then built a shrine in the Monkey King's memory, where he offered flowers and lit candles and incense. And then on returning to Benares, King Brahmadatta built another shrine to honor the Monkey King, and he asked his people to pay homage to the memory of this brave leader. King Brahmadatta always remembered the last words of the wise Monkey King and ruled his subjects with wisdom and compassion. The people in Benares, and indeed the entire kingdom, were eternally grateful to the lesson taught by the great-hearted monkey. So throughout this story, the three poisons sort of disrupted the peace and the happiness of various characters. Let's consider first the poison of greed. Who is greedy in the story? Yeah, the human king when he wanted all the mangoes. Anybody else? Okay. Yeah, the evil monkey. He was only thinking of himself. Next, think about anger or hatred. Who is angry or hateful in the story? Some of the answers can be the same ones. Both of them, yeah. The human king, the humans on the expedition, and definitely the evil monkey Devadatta. Now consider stupidity or ignorance. Who was showing their stupidity or ignorance in the story? Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah, he showed a lot of ignorance and stupidity and the action he took to hurt his king. So even I think the human king, Brahmadatta, I mean, he went after wanted to find the mango trees, and then he was mad at the monkeys because they came back and wanted to eat mangoes. And he was totally ignorant or stupid of the fact that this was their place, this was their home, this is where they hung out. And then he told his archers to shoot at them. So yeah, there were a lot of the three poisons going on in this story, I think. Perhaps you can recognize yourself or others you know in this tale. Maybe you identify with the monkeys who didn't pay enough attention to detail when that one mango fell into the river. Or maybe you felt like the king when he couldn't get the mango out of his mind, just couldn't let go. And he just thought about that all the time and allowed his work and his whole life to degrade or suffer because of it. Maybe, no, not you, but maybe somebody you know is like Devadatta, the monkey who only thought of himself. Or perhaps you're a little like King Brahmadatta after he encountered the Monkey King, who became willing to listen and learn from the wisdom of others, and incorporating their lessons into how you live your life. So this Jataka tale is meant to teach the Buddhist principle of dana, or selfless giving, but I think it also carries with it some lessons of the dangers of greed, anger, and stupidity, and it's certainly worth giving some reflection to. So as we wish each other a peaceful and happy New Year, please join me again in Gassho. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda.
Thank you for your thoughtful Dharma message.
Please rise for the Gatha Namo Amida Butsu found on page 122 in the service book. Asho, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Please be seated.
Are there any announcements?
Hello, I'm Ann Ong, and I just wanted to remind everybody that our Temple New Year's party is on Sunday, January 18th, after the Honko service. And the bento orders were due last week, but I am keeping the online order form open through today. So if you'd like to place an order for bentos, it's all pre-order. Please go ahead and place an order by today. Thank you.
Good morning. Please join us on Sunday, January 11th, next Sunday, at noon in the Annex Hall for a special screening of Because of You, I Am, an award-winning short documentary film about PJ and Roy Hirabayashi, their 50-year journey as taiko artists and community builders. After the 30-minute film, there will be an engaging discussion with PJ and Roy, exploring our relationship with Buddhist and Japanese American culture, traditions, and values. Roy and PJ also have a connection to our temple through Reverend Kenji Akahoshi. Before coming to BTSD, Sensei was a board member for San Jose Taiko. Currently, Sensei is working on the release of his upcoming book, Shifting from Please to Thank You. In his final chapter, he writes about Jodo Shinshu and Eiji Naika. Some of us have remember that dance from Obon. PJ had written that, and so Sensei says, to witness the exciting experience of the dance and song, you might seek and play it on YouTube. For me, it is the liberated version of Namandabu. The life energy, Amida, is in the shout of everyday life. Light refreshments will be served. So hopefully we'll be able to see all of you, and you'll be able to view the film with us. Okay, thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Bill and I help with membership. We even have our newest member here today. If she doesn't mind, or she may have gone to Dharma School. Are you still here? You stand? Let's say hello. So because your memory is better than mine, tell us your name. Thank you very much. Anyway, our latest family member, so we really appreciate that. I know that it may interfere with the Taiko film, so I apologize, but we will have a brief meeting after. This is for the new members, folks who've joined us recently, and I will be doing a brief introduction of some of the things that all of us as temple members should know about. And sometimes we just expect people to pick it up by osmosis. But there's a few things to go over in terms of the schedule we have and how grateful we are for your presence here. So if you can, stick around a few minutes after a Sunday service, next Sunday service on January 11th. Thank you.
Good morning. Happy New Year from your friendly brittle lady. I'm still around. We still have a few popcorn brittle. If you'd please support our fundraiser so I don't have to keep making these announcements. I appreciate all your support, though. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you all here today. Happy New Year, and welcome to 2026. 2026 is a special year for the temple. This year we'll be celebrating our 100th anniversary. So many activities will be going on throughout the year, and hope everyone will be able to participate in all the activities that the temple has planned throughout the year. Um, we had these magnets made for your refrigerators or whatever. Please pick them up. They're circulating in the back of the Hondo in the office, commemorating our 100th anniversary. And to kick off this year, we did not purchase calendars from the BCA because the temple created its own 100th anniversary calendar. We've begun to distribute it to all the dues-paying members of the temple. So we'll continue to distribute it for the next few weeks. But lots of photos in here from every month and depicting the history of the temple. From the beginning throughout the early 1900s and the middle years and into this 21st century. So if you haven't picked up your calendar, please see me and I'll get you one. And then also Reverend Davenport has been with us for several services, and starting tomorrow he will begin his duties officially as our resident minister of the Buddhist Temple San Diego. So we welcome Reverend Davenport Sensei to our Sangha, and he will begin his duties here starting this week. And then also I'd like to introduce, this might be a second introduction, but to Reverend Davenport's wife, Jackie, who's with us today. So Jackie, can you please? Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Jackie, and she'll be part of many of our activities as well. And happily, Reverend and Mrs. Davenport are expecting their first child later in February, so congratulations on the beginning of your family, and welcome to BTSD. Okay. Oh, and then for Honko is our next our first major service of the year. Honko is it's a memorial of Shinran Shonin, our founder of our Jodo Shinshu tradition. That will be on Sunday the 18th. And our guest speaker will be Reverend Vaughn Mangan of the Arizona Buddhist Temple. So look forward to seeing all of you for our special Honko service on the 18th. Thank you.
And one last announcement. If you have any recipes we're creating a cookbook for the 100th anniversary. Please submit recipes. You can submit them to me if you'd like, or to the temple website if you want to, and then it'll get to me. So that would be great if you could submit some. We need more. Okay, so we will do closing meditation. Please put your hands together for closing meditation. Just practice good, do good for others without thinking of making yourself known so that you may gain reward. Really bring benefit to others, gaining nothing for yourself. This is the primary requisite for breaking free of attachment to self. Gosho Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. This will conclude today's service. Thank you to Reverend Hokai Smitty Smith for officiating and for the wonderful Dharma talk. Thank you to our co-officiants, Reverend Sterling Davenport and Reverend Noriko Kawai. Thank you to Yukari for ringing the concho. Thank you to Ann Ong for the music. And thank you to Brevin for technical assistance. And lastly, thank you to everyone for attending the service today.
The service will actually continue after the Dharma school are excused.
Dharma school students are excused to Ashoko and go to the conference room for an old Dharma school activity. The adult service will start in a few minutes.
There will also be a Japanese message after this portion of the service. So if it hasn't been mentioned yet, and I don't recall that it was. Okay, we will start the adult session with the Vandana and Tisarana, which can be found on page 96 of the service book. And everybody is to start from the beginning, and we will read it together.
We'll all chant from the beginning of the Vandana and continue on through the Tisarana together. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Kie Butsu. Namo Kie Ho. Namo Kie So.
Namo Amidavats, Namo Amidavats, Namo Amidavats, Namo Amidavats. Now we will have the adult Dharma message by Smitty Sensei.
Of course, since Lisa did say that was the end of the service, if you don't want to hear me talk again, I suppose you can leave. And I won't be offended. You have an excuse this time. So please join me in Gasho as we hear the words of Shinran Shonen from Lamp for the Latter Ages, letter 19. Human beings are such that, maddened by the passions of greed, we desire to possess. Maddened by the passions of anger, we hate that which should not be hated, seeking to go against the law of cause and effect. Led astray by the passions of ignorance, we do what should not even be thought. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, 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 Namanda. So good morning again. It's my natural inclination to once again wish all of you a happy, healthy, and peaceful new year. And that's still my wish for everyone. But it's getting harder and harder to find peace, joy, and happiness in this world. We were barely 3 days into the new year when I awoke to the news that the U.S. had launched a significant military action into Venezuela, attacking Caracas and capturing President Nicolas Maduro and his wife and bringing them to the U.S. to face weapons and drug trafficking charges. And this followed months of U.S. pressure on Venezuela during 2025, including deadly military strikes on suspected drug smuggling boats, seizures of oil tankers, and sanctions against the Maduro government. I'm not saying that Maduro is a good guy by any stretch of the imagination. Maduro's claim to be legitimately elected is highly disputed by much of the international community, which largely considers him an authoritarian and a leader and a dictator. I'm just noting how little peace and harmony is found in our world, and yesterday's actions by the U.S. against Venezuela serve to demonstrate this. The peace of the new year was immediately broken. And it's truly sad that there's so much hatred and anger and violence throughout the world. It was all through 2025, and it continued into 2026. There's, continuing devastation and starvation in Gaza, Russia's attacks on Ukraine and Ukraine's counterattacks on Russia. There have been ICE raids and counter-protests in states like California, Ohio, Texas, Oregon, Illinois, and many other states. There's the assassination of the Minnesota House of Representatives Democrat and her husband, the senior House member. There was the murder of the conservative activist Charlie Kirk, and the arson attack on Pennsylvania governor's residence. Well, the Democratic governor and his family were inside. The list goes on and on of these violent, hateful, and angry acts that are in our world. And I'm not mentioning these incidents to point fingers or assign blame or take sides, but just to remind ourselves. By mentioning these violent occurrences, I hope that we can see how the three poisons of greed, anger, and ignorance profoundly affect our lives, bringing suffering and pain to so many, both near and far. The wish here is that we become more aware of our tendency to resort to violent action. We react to situations and bring pain and suffering upon ourselves and others. We, as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists, should instead encourage ourselves and others to positively respond to situations with insight and compassion. Yet, this is so very difficult for us to do. Amida Buddha, the embodiment of immeasurable life and infinite light, by virtue of unsurpassed wisdom, understands that we are unenlightened, foolish beings. And by virtue of infinite compassion, Amida is aware of how terribly difficult it is for us to be unaffected by the three poisons. Thus, Amida Buddha doesn't judge and condemn, but reaches out with great compassion to illuminate, nurture, and guide us when we continue to struggle to do better, to live better lives. The unique quality of Amida Buddha is that Amida doesn't accept and embrace us after we've done things to become good or become better people. after we've rejected the three poisons. Instead, Amida Buddha unconditionally embraces us in spite of these faults, continually encouraging us to think and act with open minds and open hearts. Amida Buddha's love and compassion for us is truly unconditional. And when we become aware of the compassion embracing us, we become so grateful that we're moved to aspire to be better persons. This is the power of gratitude. It touches us. It really moves us. Shinran Shonin, in another one of his letters, wrote, "One must seek to cast off the evil of this world and to cease doing wretched deeds. This is what it means to reject the evil of this world and to live a life in the Nembutsu." Of course, as ordinary foolish beings, it's impossible to be completely free of the three poisons. But we're continually being nurtured and encouraged by the Buddha of immeasurable life and infinite light to be better. According to the late Reverend Jitsuen Kakehashi, a noted scholar and Jodo Shinshu priest, a person who has become awakened to Amida Buddha's profound wisdom and compassion begins to live a new life, refraining from committing selfish deeds and instead trying to respond to the Buddha's great compassion. Shinran points out that there must be necessarily a big difference in the condition of a person's mind between before they heard the teaching of the primal vow and after they became an Nembutsu practicer, guided by the primal vow. And there must certainly be a difference in behavior before and after the person became a Nembutsu practicer. You know, in our daily lives, we're liable to be dictated to by our self-centered thoughts. But in the minds of the Nembutsu practicers who are saddened by and pained by this reality, there's a reoccurring transformation in which, with the heart and mind of the Buddha's great wisdom and compassion, we come to look back at our own thoughts and behaviors. We look at the world with an ordinary human mind. It's distinctly divided into things we love and things we hate. But when we look at the world with the mind of the Buddha, we're made to know everyone is equally the Buddha's indispensably important child. From that standpoint, we realize that we're all brothers and sisters and fellow human beings. Then, slowly but steadily, we come to reflect on our self-centered thoughts, reject our blind passions, and make efforts to see things and live our lives in a way that follows the Buddha. As I thought back about the lack of peace, joy, and happiness in our world today, a song made popular by Elvis Costello and the Attractions came to mind. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding is kind of a sarcastic pleading song written by Nick Lowe in 1974, but nobody knew his band. And then it was popularized when it was covered by Elvis Costello in 1979. I don't know if anybody here knows any of Elvis Costello's work or remembers this song. But the song questions why those ideals seem so absent in a world that's filled with pain and hatred. And Costello's rendition kind of acted as a powerful anthem for finding hope in a world full of troubles. And the lyrics go, "As I walk through this wicked world, searching for light in the darkness of insanity, I ask myself, is all hope lost? Is there only pain and hatred and misery? And each time I feel like this inside, there's one thing I want to know. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? As I walk on through troubled times, my spirit gets so downhearted sometimes. So where are the strong, and who are the trusted? And where is the harmony, that sweet harmony? Because each time I feel it slipping away, it just makes me want to cry. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? So where are the strong, and who are the trusted, and where's the harmony, sweet harmony? Because each time I feel it slipping away, it just makes me want to cry. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding?" So the lyrics are pretty simple, but the music is kind of catchy. And as we wade through things like social media that's packed with political fights and news stories filled with hatred and anger, and America seems more sharply divided than it's been in generations. Perhaps a song like this can remind us of the irresistible attraction of the three poisons. Perhaps it can remind us of the difference we can make when we do resist imbibing in them. Before we laugh at and share that mean-spirited meme and contribute to the ongoing hostility online, maybe we should take a moment and stop. Maybe we should ask ourselves what we can do to be better and to be a better example, and ask ourselves, what can we do to add more of that harmony, that sweet harmony, to a world that truly needs it? Let's all ask ourselves what we can do to contribute to a little more peace, love, and understanding. As Buddhists, we should be aware of the destructive nature of greed, hatred, and ignorance. We should take whatever actions we can, however small they might seem, to foster peace and call for an end to aggression and violence. The great aspiration of Amida Buddha is for peace and happiness of all existence. May we embrace the Buddha's aspiration as our own aspiration. May we recall that in all matters, the Buddhist emphasis would be one of collaboration without force or violence. And compassion of the Buddhas shows that peace and happiness has to be for all people, for all life, and for all of existence. The life of a Jodo Shinshu Buddhist is a life of responding in gratitude to the great wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha by trying to live the best life we can, guided by the teachings or the Dharma, not only for our sake, but for the sake of others, particularly for those who are different from us. This is the peace and happiness that the world sorely needs. And as we enter this new year, this 100th anniversary year of the Buddhist Temple of San Diego, may we all be guided by the Buddha's great wisdom and compassion so that there's less hatred, discrimination, and suffering, and instead more peace, joy, and happiness in the entire world. Please join me again in Gassho. May the light of all-inclusive wisdom and all-embracing compassion guide our thoughts, words, and actions along the difficult journey to peace. Namo Amida Buddha. Namandab, 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 Namandab.
Could everybody please rise for the Gatha Ondoksan, which can be found on page 128? You're welcome to sit down. Now we will have a closing meditation. By virtue of true compassion, let us realize the unexcelled value of this existence, and let us live together with gratitude in our hearts. From White Ashes by Renyo Shonen. This concludes the English portion of the service. You're welcome to come up and offer incense, and if you speak Japanese or want to practice listening, please come a little closer so Noriko feels well loved. And if you're not staying, you're welcome to come down to the dining area for hospitality.
Namandats. 皆さん明けましておめでとうございます。新しい年を迎え、皆様とこうしてまたお念仏を申すご縁をいただけたことを大変ありがたく思っております。今日は「歎異抄」の第3章をご参題としていただきたいと思います。歎異抄は親鸞上人のお言葉をお弟子さんの唯円が書き留めた書物と伝えられています。歎異抄は本来は正式にはご参題としてお務めする書物ではないのですが、ですのでこれをお聞きになった先生方は間違ったことをしていると思われるかもしれないんですけれども、親鸞上人のお心を私たちの身近な言葉で伝えてくれる書物です。原文は少し難しい言葉もありますが、今日は意味をたどりながら味わっていただけたらと思います。新年になりますと、今年こそはと思うことがいろいろと出てまいります。健康のこと、暮らしのこと、心の持ち方、そんな今年こそは元気で、今年こそはちゃんと、そんな思いをこれまで何度も抱いてきました。 皆さんはいかがでしょうか。元旦の首相会でのスミティ先生のお話で、1年の目標で一番ポピュラーなのは、今年こそは痩せるぞとか、今年こそはジムに行ってエクササイズを頑張るぞというものだということでした。私も過去に何度新年にこれを誓ったことでしょう。でも現実にはなかなか思うようにいきません。私自身このところ体調を崩し、思うようにできないことが重なりました。食べるものに気をつけようと思っても台所に立つことができなかったりして、つい出来合いのものとかデリバリーに頼ってしまう。今日は少し動けても次の日にはしんどくて動けない。やろうと思っていたことになかなか手がつかない。元気になったらやろうと思っているうちに気力が続かなくなってしまう。元気な時でさえ三日坊主なのに、しんどい時はなおさらです。そんな自分を前にして、もう少し頑張れたらとか、情けないなと思う気持ちも起こってきました。同時にどうにもならない自分の姿をはっきりと見せられたようにも感じました。そんな時に思い出されたのが、最初にお読みした「歎異抄」の言葉です。善人なをもて往生を遂ぐ、言わんや悪人親。現代の言葉で言うなら、良い人でさえ浄土に往生することができる、ましてや悪人はなおさらであるという言葉です。この言葉だけを聞くと、驚かれる方もいらっしゃると思います。じゃあ悪人の方がいいの？良いことをしなくてもいいの？と、そんな疑問が浮かぶかもしれません。でも「歎異抄」はこの一言で終わりません。すぐ続いてこう語られます。しかるを世の人常に曰く、悪人なを往生す、いかに言わんや善人親。世間の人は悪人が往生できるなら善人はなおさらだと考えてしまうけれども、それは本願他力の教えとは違うのだと「歎異抄」は示します。さらにその後にこう続きます。自力の心を翻して他力を頼み立てまつれば、真実法度の往生を遂ぐるなり。自力の心、自力の力を当てにする心を離れて、阿弥陀様の本願にお任せするとき、浄土に生まれさせていただくのだという教えです。ここで言われている善人悪人は、人を評価したり裁いたりする言葉ではありません。「歎異抄」でいう善人とは、自分は正しくできる、自分の力で何とかする、そう思って生きている人の姿です。一方で悪人とは、自分の思い通りには生きられない、どうにもならない身であることを知らされた人の姿だと言えます。体調一つで、気力一つで簡単に崩れてしまう好み、その現実に出会わされたところに、阿弥陀様の救いがすでに届いている。だから親鸞上人は、良い行いができるかどうかではなく、自分の力に頼れない身こそが阿弥陀様の働きの真っ只中にあると味わわれたのではないでしょうか。善人なをもって往生を遂ぐ、言わんや悪人親。この言葉は、私は最近、できない私のためにこそ向けられたお言葉としてとても身近に感じています。私たちはつい元気で頑張れて続けられる自分を基準にしてしまいます。そしてそうなれない自分を責めてしまう。けれども阿弥陀様は、ちゃんとできるようになってから来なさいとはおっしゃいませんでした。そのままのあなたを必ず救う、そう誓われました。新しい年を迎え、こうなりたい、変わりたいと願う心を抱きながら、 同時に変われない私、しんどさを抱えた私、それもすでに見捨てられていない、そのことをお念仏の中で聞かせていただきたいと思います。できない私の中で、できない私のままで抱かれている。その事実に支えられて、また一日一日を歩ませていただきたいと思います。本年もどうぞよろしくお願いいたします。それではもう一度お念仏を申してお話を終わりとさせていただきます。ご一緒に合唱をお願いいたします。ナモアミダ仏、ナマンダ仏、ナマンダ仏、ナマンダ仏。ありがとうございました。本持ってきたのにお見せするの忘れました。